Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Time Traveling Through the Eclipse Tunnel. This is Chase Boutiche. I'm here with you today to talk about these crazy eclipses that we are in the midst of going through to. And sorry, I'm just making sure I'm doing all this stuff today. I'm like transmitting on all these different platforms. So I'm making sure that I'm on the right thing. You know what I mean? Um uh anyway, so I want to just give you all say welcome here, welcome to this live, and I'm really excited to have you all here. Hold on one second. I'm just going to make sure that I can see your guys' chats. So I'm trying to make sure that I can see them. I'm also going to stream from Miss. All right, so I got your guys' chats up in case you want to chat. Nobody's watching yet, so this is good. And I'm just gonna go live on Instagram as well. I know that this is crazy, and you guys are like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this?" But I want to do stuff. I want to do a bunch of different stuff at the same time. You know what I mean? I want to get on all these different platforms and just fucking do it right now. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna flip that. Bink. Excuse me for not being absolutely prepared, but I'm doing it now. And 3, 2, 1. Is she going live? Everybody tell me. Is she? Okay, I'm doing it. Let's do it. Here, I'm doing it. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful time traveling through the Eclipse Tunnel. I am here to. How come I can't go live? What the hell is that all about? Am I live? Is it live? How do I do it live, guys? Nobody's watching, so we're all right. I'm going to edit this so that nobody knows that I don't know what I'm doing. Let's go live. Bing. There we go. All right, everybody, here we go. I'm actually live. I'm live on 4 different platforms at the same time. 4. Bing, 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 bing. And I'm here because I'm really excited about what's going on right now. We got some crazy shit going on with this eclipse. We're in the midst of an eclipse tunnel. And we're in the middle of 2 eclipses right now. So one was on May 26th in the sign of Gemini, and one is on June 10th in the sign of Sagittarius. And these 2 are opposing signs. So what this means is that there is a charge, there's an energy between them. But what I really want to talk about today is really how we're in the middle of a profoundly new era, a new energy, a new world. And this is not, I don't think people are talking about this enough, because I was just at the gym today and I saw like the news, and the news was like, it literally said like everything's going back to normal. Things are starting to go back to normal now. And I was just like, really? This is what, I was with my partner and I was like, look at this. Like, and we just laughed and we're like, things are never going to be going back to normal. I mean, they may seemingly be going back to normal, but when I really like allowed myself to tune into this idea and this truth, I got incredibly when I really, really, really go into it, I have a deep amount of grief. Like, the way that the world was working pre 2020 was like killing the earth. It was on a mass path of destruction, everybody. Wake up, red flag, massive path of destruction, okay? And the news outlets, the ones who perpetuated this entire thing and the fear, it doesn't surprise me that they just are waiting for everything to go back to normal so that we can all be what? like slaving away and exhausted all the time, that's not going to work. So yeah, it was interesting today because when I saw that, I keep saying, and I've talked to so many of my friends and so many psychic people and so many empaths, and we're all like, there's no way in hell things can go back to the way they were. But a lot of us are like, but we don't know what's to come. And what I really, really want to get across here in this eclipse tunnel, in the middle of this eclipse tunnel that we're in at this moment in time, is really that, um, you know, it's we're in a portal at this moment in time. We're in a portal. This is the first set of eclipses that has happened since the age of Aquarius in 2021. In 2020, December 21st of 2021, 2020. That's when the age of Aquarius began. That is when the energy, hey Angeliana, that is when, hey Jessica, what's up? That is when we had a massive shift happen on the 21st of December, right? So I'm just catching everybody up, guys. I'm just talking about how we're in this new time and we're in an eclipse portal right now. And this eclipse portal is the first portal of the new era because we've attuned and shifted the frequencies that happened when the official age of Aquarius began on December 21st, 2020, right? People have been talking about when the heck does this begin? When has this begun, right? It happened December 21st at the Saturn Jupiter conjunction. It was called the Grand Conjunction. It was like the Star of Bethlehem in the sky. It was this huge alignment that only happens once every 800 years, exact at the same exact moment that we were ending 2020, right? Initiating a whole entirely new era. And so we're in this era. We're in 2021. We started the new zodiac cycle. We're in the sign of Gemini now, but we're currently in our first set of eclipses for this new era, for this new currency, right? So what I feel is happening with that, with the currency and the new energetics of this new time, is that because we're between the two eclipses at this point in time, we are in like a morphing we have an extreme power to really enter into new energies, new timelines, new frequencies, to really, really, really access the point in time that we want to be at, that we want to be in. The what do we want, how do we want to go from here? Because I don't know about you guys, but to me, this past, like, the 2021 so far has been incredibly destabilizing, right? There's been these new frequencies that have come in that have been extraordinarily exciting, right? Extraordinarily exciting. That's what I've been feeling. I've been feeling this new decentralized freedom, meaning the fucking power structures have fucking are dissolving, right? And um and there's like this new energy that's emerging, right? At the same time, that energy, that old world of hierarchy and fucking slave colonial culture where one person is at the top, that with all of the wealth, right? This is the origin of a lot of our scarcity, patriarchal mindsets, capitalistic mindsets, that has really been a life of looking at what we don't have, loneliness, pain, greed, destruction, the energies that are killing the earth, essentially, right? We hit this apex point in 2020. Things started dissolving. Now we're in a new cycle. What's really exciting right now is that we're in the eclipse portal, meaning we're in between eclipses. The reason why this is so powerful and that this is so important and that this is so exciting is because the eclipses, this is the first set of eclipses in the new era, right? What does that mean? It means that now, I believe personally, what I've been told, what has been downloaded to me, is that now at this point in time, there is an incredible, we have a mutability, we have an ability to shapeshift, we have an ability to really start to tune into the energies, tune into the frequencies, open up to new worlds, open up to the worlds that we want to see. It's like a blip on the it's like this is a whole new frequency, and then these eclipses are like, they are rapid acceleration points. They signify rapid acceleration points, right? Do you guys remember the eclipse in 2017, the full solar eclipse that we had in 2017 that was like in Leo? You remember do you guys remember how you felt during that? Like I was exhausted during that. Like I was like I don't know, I remember like feeling exhausted for 2 weeks, and I just felt such intense shifts happening during that time. And if you can recall, because I feel that that energy is kind of the similar energy that we're dealing with now. Yes, Angeliana says yes. That's kind of the similar energy we're dealing with now, but it's even more intense because we're on a higher frequency trajectory, energetic level, because so much was demolished of the lower vibrations that were keeping humans enslaved to a certain mindset. So much of that died in 2020, and so the frequencies of the planet were up leveled, right? So now in this new era, with to have a eclipse portal in this, it's almost like literally we can kind of dive into a black hole. We can dive into a time tunnel and kind of begin to think about what timeline do we want to jump into, what. And I'm going to talk about the energies of Sagittarius and Gemini a little bit to help us. Yes, I was totally exhausted as well. Yes, Jessica says as well. Yeah, so I believe I was so tired during that time, and I don't I my energy has been wild during this time. Like I have been absolutely really high energy, and then absolutely exhausted. I've been super like awake, and then like I literally can barely function. I don't know if you guys are feeling that way during this time right now. That's how I've been feeling. Today was like I don't know, last night I kind of tossed and turned. I've been getting crazy downloads in my dreams. I've been having crazy dreams. And what I've been downloading and feeling on a very deep intuitive level is that we are in a profoundly sacred moment. We are in a new energy. We are entering a new we've entered a new frequency, but we're now in between these eclipses, and we really have the power to talk to formulate and focus in on what it is, what timelines we want to be on. When I talk about timelines, this was a concept I always kind of understood, but I never really understood until certain people really, you know, helped me understand it better. But, basically a timeline, you can timeline jump. So you can basically be on one time, like for instance, have you ever been to a psychic and she gives you some information about your life and none of it ends up being true, or all of it ends up being true? It's like psychics, what I've realized about psychics is that they tune in to one timeline. They tune into the timeline that you are currently on, meaning if you continue on the energy level that you're with the energy and on the energy plane that you're currently on, you will continue on that timeline. Certain things will develop, right? Versus if you but you can make the decision to timeline jump. You can actually make a conscious choice to timeline jump. What does that mean? It basically means that you're going to access a different kind of consciousness. You're going to access an imaginative consciousness, and you're going to start living more from that space to shift the timeline, right? There's all different timelines of any moment in time, right? There is no real time, right? Time is simultaneous, right? There's many different realities happening all at once. With our current energy, the way our current energy is at this point in time, our frequency, we are operating on one timeline, right? But if we make a certain choice in any direction, we veer and we go down a separate timeline. What's on these timelines? Who's on these timelines? What happens for us in these timelines? Where are we actualized on each timeline, right? What actualizes in each timeline? These are all questions that we need to ask ourselves and to really think about, because I think that the timeline jumping is a really interesting concept, and it's one that once I started getting into, I could start seeing in all different areas of my life because we make these massive choices in our lives, right? At certain pivotal moments, we make massive choices at certain pivotal moments in our lives. And you guys, I'm sure, can all think about when you made a massive choice and how it took you down that road, right? And what I believe about timeline jumping and timelines in general is that we intuitively know what timeline is the highest for us at any moment. We actually do know. We actually know where we want to go. There's our higher self, our spirit self that is here to achieve its highest potential in this lifetime. Then there's our, material selves, our egos, right? And we're constantly trying to balance those two, right? Will our ego allow for us at this point in time? Can we release enough fear to actualize into our highest spiritual self? Can we surrender enough resistance to open to what the highest realms of ourselves actually want and desire to accomplish, experience, be in this lifetime? Can we open ourselves to actually receive whatever it is that we believe and know in our heart of hearts that we want to receive? These are all deep questions to ask yourself. These are all these are all the really the timeline factors. Oopsies. I'm working with there we go. Sorry, I'm back. Fucking technology. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm just trying it out today. All right. Just give me a break. I'm trying it all out. I got a new setup in here. All right. I'm trying to be like techie. All right. I got the cosmic connection, but then I'm doing all this on top of it, and I don't fucking know. So here we go. All right. Um anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about timelines. So yeah, so I think at any point, hi Angelina. So I think at any point, we can kind of make these active choices in what timeline. Like I have so many I have so many memories of being on certain timelines in my life where I was like, um, I knew deep in my soul it was the wrong timeline, like I had made a choice out of fear, and I knew deep in my soul it was the wrong timeline, but I still like went on it because for whatever reasons my ego needed to experience that in order to evolve at some point, right? And I think that's kind of what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about having an understanding and potentially allowing ourselves to release whatever resistances we may have to hopping on the timeline that has the highest level of um actualization, pleasure, power, what we're really ready to create, be, have in this lifetime, right? um yeah, so these are all these questions. These are all the questions. And what I really feel like is happening in this eclipse portal is we're in the space between two eclipses. It's like this chaotic, wild time, right? And it's like anything can happen at this time, right? And I have been feeling massive amounts of chaos. One of my friends told me that somebody she talked to was talking about how this is a time like ruled by chaos, and I've been feeling the chaos. And what's really interesting is that I've been also feeling the creative power that comes with the chaos. I've kind of been surrendering to it. I've been like my fear is just getting more and more and more and more worn away. So worn away that I'm starting to like surrender to this kind of chaos and realizing that the chaos is actually this formulation of a new world order that I keep talking about. I keep talking about the new world order and the new frequencies. Um right now it feels especially intense. It feels especially intense. Um, how are you guys all doing with it? How is everybody doing with their with their eclipse energy, with the eclipses that are happening at this point in time. I'm curious to know. Um, so I want to talk about the energies all over the fucking place. And Juliana says, "Yep, yep, I feel that same way too. I feel all over the place. I feel up, I feel down, I feel happy, I feel sad. Um, I feel uncertain, I feel super stable. Um, but I did, I really did have a fucking moment today when I came home from the gym and I opened up to the reality. I feel like there's been this part of me that's been inside of me. Clients here. Bye, Juliana. There's been this part of me inside of me that has uh I keep like talking about this new era and I keep talking about this new energy and I keep talking about the new world. And I'm like, there's was this part of me that was like, I'm never going back. And I talked to all these people that are like, I'm never going back. And then, kind of see, I don't watch the fucking news, but the news was on at the fucking gym today. And so I saw, somebody saying, something, everything's going back to normal. And it's like, there's a deep trigger when that comes on. I don't know about you guys, but like, there's a deep trigger for me when I hear that, because the way that it was working before was not working. It was not working for me and it was not working for all of the sensitives. It was not working for the earth. It was not working for the animals. It wasn't really working for anybody. I was going to say it was working for a few at the top, but it really wasn't even working for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had to have this moment of grief today where I kind of like let go a little bit and I kind of surrendered into things, seeming to go back to normal, whatever the fuck that means. And allowing that to be and surrendering this fight that I am fighting. Not that I don't believe. My deepest intuition and the channeled messages I have been getting are that this is a new time and that this is a new era and that the frequencies have shifted. But I think there's this wounding around the old world, right? Especially if we're sensitives. And like the thought of it coming back almost feels like this like tyrant coming to rule, I don't even know. Coming to rule something. And yeah, I had to like have a moment where I kind of surrendered all of that today. And I kind of was like, if things are going to go back to some way that they were before, I can accept that. I can accept that they may seem to go back a certain way, but that's actually not the truth. And that hold in my heart and know. And I think that this is the process of learning how to release resistance. It's also the process of surrender, because I think it's a very fine dance in our reality when we're, you know, um, trying, pushing, striving. We got that warrior energy. I have that warrior energy, and sometimes it's too intense, that warrior energy, you know what I mean? And it's like it pushes so hard that it kind of pushes away. Sometimes it's like this deep, intense yin and yang wave of pushing and releasing, creating and allowing. And that's kind of the wave I've been going through in this new time, is like having this vision, very strong vision, and then surrendering the vision. Because I it doesn't feel good to be attached to anything, really. And the more and the longer I'm on this planet, the more and more I'm just kind of like, you know what, this all fucking happens in the blip of an eye. And we're gonna be dead before we know it, and none of this really is that big of a deal when we leave our body. I was just been reading, have you guys ever read Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani? Because I read that this I read that back in 2017. It's an incredible account of this woman who had stage 4 cancer, but she wrote it in the most beautifully articulate way. She had stage 4 cancer, and she slowly died, and it's her account of dying of lymphoma and coming back into her body after being like most insane type of fucking lymphoma with sores all over her body. She couldn't even lay down. I mean, she had oozing everywhere, just horrible. And she died, she left her body, she went and met the spirit of her father, she came back into her body, she decided not to continue on and to come back into her body. And when she came back into her body, her cancer completely just like disappeared within like literally 4 days. And yeah, it's this incredible account of her journey. No medical doctor like can explain it, nobody can even fathom it. And it's, and so basically it's her like account and her story about life and the way she chooses to live her life. Her whole book is about like just seriously allowing ourselves to chill the fuck out, enjoy ourselves, let go, lighten the fuck up. And yeah, that's really what I've been like just opening up to, just more and more and more and more. When you kind of read a book like that and you start to realize that the nature of reality, like this reality is so 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 small compared to what our souls know on a deep primordial level. um yeah, it's kind of like a video game or something, and we can just kind of lighten the fuck up, not take it so seriously, enjoy ourselves and push ourselves, but also enjoy ourselves, right? Not take it all so freaking seriously. um so in terms of the timeline and the energy between these eclipses that we can kind of gather and glean from, I just want to talk a little bit about the eclipse that's going to be happening on June 10th. The one that, oh, sorry, yeah, the one we had on the 26th was in Sag. The one we're gonna have on the 10th is in Gemini. I think I reversed those when I first started talking. The one in Sag, um, you know, is really a lot about our intuition and beginning to trust ourselves, beginning to trust what we feel in this new era, beginning to trust um, what we. Hey, Kathleen. I was extremely tired during the 2017 eclipse, had a terrible migraine for the first time had a terrible migraine for the first time that week. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, isn't it crazy how much it affects? Don't you think that the migraine has something to do with this pressure? Have you guys been feeling this pressure? Because I've been feeling a lot of pressure. And that's why I was just talking about releasing that pressure, and accepting the present and accepting the reality, because I feel like that migraine energy and what I've been going through myself is this pressure of like, oh, I can't go back. I have to do everything I have to do to not go back to this old way that things were. And it's like, I'm exhausted. And it's like pushing so freaking hard, right? Yeah, that energy can't sustain anymore. We got to lighten the fuck up. We got to laugh at ourselves. We got to get out the emotions. We got to work out. We got to cry it out. We got to scream it out. We got to let it all flow, because we are the intuitives. We are the ones of this new era. We are the empaths, the intuitives, the sensitives. We are holding down the energy for this new era, you guys. I will repeat this over and over and over and over. We are holding down the energy for this new era, which means we're the channels of it. We're establishing the frequencies. Everything that happens materially happened because we felt and imagined it first. And I know we know this as spiritual beings. We all know this, right? Of course, I know this too. It's another thing to like begin to try to, I'm not a total magician at this exact alakazam, bam, right? No, it doesn't work exactly like that, right? But starting to really ground in whatever it is that we want to be creating, establishing, holding to, believing in. What I firmly believe, the reason why I'm doing these lives and all of this broadcasting, all of this communication is because I keep getting told that this is a new era and it is up to every single one of us to establish and ground in the new frequency. What does that mean? It means doing the freaking spiritual work. So it means, what I realized this morning, when I was doing hey ma'am, hey, how's it going? Ireland for life. I just had a dream about Ireland the other day. I had a really amazing dream about Ireland, and I was going to Galway. One of my best friends is from Galway. Anyway, what was I just talking about? Oh, I was talking about grounding in the new energies, right? I was talking about grounding in them, and oh yeah, I was talking about spiritual discipline. So, I myself, I think today I kind of woke up and I kind of was like, I like, what are the things that kind of bring me down? Like, what are the things that, um, that kind of bring me into a space of fear, right? When I'm on the expansive, when I'm in trust, because I do a lot of spiritual work. I sit at my altar every single morning for a long amount of time. Every single morning I sit at my altar and I ground myself in the energies that I want to um that I believe in, that I feel are true, that I feel are the truth. I ground myself in deeper levels of security. I ground myself in knowing that I am always provided for. I ground myself in attuning to my cosmic family. I ground myself in reflecting my own truth. I charge myself with positive and affirming truths about reality. And sometimes I'll sit in my altar room for 2 hours in the morning, for 2 hours. But then sometimes for the rest of the day, I'll be checking my email, or I'll be doing things needlessly on the internet. And I've been noticing how sometimes when I'm doing that, it brings me to this constriction point. And that's what I've been really, really starting to notice is what brings me into a state of constriction and what brings me into a state of expansion. What brings me into a state of feeling like, because you can feel the fear in your body, you guys. You can feel the fear in your body. We all know what fear feels like. We've just become so accustomed to it that it's like it's our norm. But it's not the way that we're meant to live our lives. We're actually meant to live relaxed and in a state of trust. And so I've started to really pay attention to when I'm bringing in that constriction state, right? When I'm like, "Grr," versus just simply allowing myself to, because when I'm in trust, I'm relaxed. I'm not on guard. I'm not shielding. I'm not, exhausted. Yeah, and so the spiritual discipline that I've been working with, and what I'm talking, why this is applying to this eclipse tunnel, is because I'm talking about us being the frequency holders, us being the nodes of grounding the new frequency of the age of Aquarius that has create that there is a new frequency that has emerged since the age of Aquarius on December 21st, 2020, right? That has shifted the frequencies of this entire planet. But the old world is trying to come back in. It keeps trying to come back in. The old normal tries to come back in, that was destructive to everything. So it is up to those of us that are the most sensitive, the most attuned to energy, the most awoke to the systems at large, how they're controlling us, our own levels of personal freedom. Um, you're a very good speaker. Well, thank you. Are you from the South, ma'am? um, anyway, but yeah, so we're the ones that are holding down the energy for this new era. And so that's why right. And at this point in time, we're in this eclipse portal, right? We're in this eclipse portal. And so it's incredibly important for us to hold down the energy for this new era. What does that mean? I'm not saying that you absolutely have to always be positive. I'm not saying that. Fuck perpetual positivity. I do shadow work. I'm like, I got Saturn conjunct Pluto in my chart, okay? I know about the shadow, all right? I know about some emotions. And and Yeah, and so I was just, when I'm on this, just trying to be respectful to my elders, not that you look old. Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so back to what I'm saying though. We need to be the ones that are grounding in this new era. What does that mean? It means establishing energetic discipline. It means allowing ourselves to live in a space of perpetually working towards keeping our energy in a space that is um working towards not living in a space of contracted fear. Because if we, as the light bearers, as the empaths, as the sensitives, keep succumbing to the fear body of the masses, we're going to lower the vibration. The vibration of the planet will go back to that. I don't believe it's going to. It can't. It's already hit a point of no return, a tipping point. But that's why it's our responsibility at this point in time to shift and hold to the new frequencies. So I would just be curious to know how you guys are all working with that, how you are holding to it, whether or not, just working around paying attention to when you're constricted, when you're feeling constricted, when you do certain things, when you can feel the fear in yourself. There's a space in ourselves where we either feel, where we start to feel, um, you know, um, really in trust, relaxed, in faith, or we simultaneously, there's a space in us where we feel contracted and fearful and on guard, right? That is a reactive space. When we're on that space, that was the MO in 2020, pre 2020, right? That was the MO. That was my MO all the time. Just like contracted, constantly reacting, constantly feeling like something was going to bombard me, tired. um 2020, we all got a break. The empaths of the world, the intuitives, the sensitives, we all got a freaking break, right? Um, and yeah. So how are we doing the energetic work at this point in time to keep ourselves grounded? Are we doing the energetic work to keep ourselves grounded in the space of the new, in the space of the up leveled frequencies? What does that look like? It looks like reading a book that keeps you in a space of positive, of not even positive, because I'm not even into just a positivity, I'm into truth, where you feel a release. You feel a release within yourself. You feel a release of tension. You feel a release of restriction. Some of the books that I have, for an entire, I was just talking about the book Dying to Be Me. That book I had at my altar, and I read parts of that book every single morning for years. Because it gave me such inner peace, because I could feel the reverberations of the truth of the message. And so, what do you keep around you that reminds you of your truth, of your cosmic truth, of your cosmic identity? What do you keep around you that releases the tension inside, that releases the pent up stress? What attunes you to a higher level of higher frequency? I want you guys to all start working on keeping that stuff around. If you're watching the news on the regular, turn it off. I know I've said this before, but if you have, allow yourself to feel more pleasure. That's why I keep talking about 2021 is the year of pleasure. It is about pleasure, which means pleasure. You cannot be stressed out when you're enjoying pleasure. I mean, well, you kind of can if you're used to pain all the time. Pleasure can kind of stress you out because you're so not used to it. But for the most part, if you can get yourself into a groove with it, pleasure is meant to be open. Pleasure is a receptive feminine space where we are open to receive, right? And so many of us have kept ourselves in such a shielded reactive space that we've not been able to receive. So it's up to us to attune to that receptive state, and it takes work, it takes concentration, it takes focus. But that's really in this portal, you guys, in this eclipse tunnel that we're in right now between the two eclipses. This is the energy I want you to attune to. I want you to ground into this energy. I want you to ground into this vibration. Um, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Gemini and Sagittarius. These are the opposing signs of these eclipses. And then I think I'm going to do a little meditation to ground us in this energy. And then I think I'm good. But so the Gemini energy, Gemini, that's the eclipse that's coming up on the 10th. The Sagittarius is the eclipse that happened on the 26th. So the Gemini energy is teacher, storyteller, journalist, witness, right? The key word for Gemini is perception. This is an interesting thing to think about. How you are perceiving reality. How are you perceiving reality? Do we ask ourselves this enough? We're all in this funny matrix where we're all supposed to perceive reality the same way. That's not the truth. We don't all perceive reality the same way. Some of us are incredibly emotional. Some of us perceive through our emotions. Some of us are incredibly, mental. We need absolute to talk everything out. That's how we perceive reality. Some of us are incredibly intuitive. We handle things through our intuition. So I want you guys all to think about that. How do you perceive reality? What's your MO? The other energy around Gemini is raw, not thinking but seeing. Not thinking but seeing. Isn't that interesting? Not a philosopher but a journalist. So when we're talking about perception of reality, what that really means is, how are we taking in our reality? Not philosophizing it. How are we actually rawly taking it in? Is it colored with a screen of fear and expectation of dismal, dismal results or dismal pain or whatever? What is our perception? Not thinking as much, but as seeing, and giving the universe permission to not make sense. This is a big one with Gemini, and I think this is a huge one for this new energy that we're entering in this eclipse portal. You guys, we don't fucking know. I'm on all these fucking discords with all these fucking crypto bros. I'm on all this shit with all in the news. Everybody thinks they fucking know. It's the thing that bothers me the most. Here I am talking about what I know. I don't really know anything. All I'm doing is talking to you at this moment in time from what I am understanding about reality from this moment in time. But that shit changes all the freaking time. That shit changes all the time. You know what I mean? So yeah, giving the universe permission to not make sense. What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? That means that we allow ourselves to not know what the fuck is going on. That we acknowledge that we do not have any idea about the current state of fucking reality, that things are changing, that life is chaotic, that we're in between eclipses right now, right? That the energies are shifting massively on the planet, and that nobody really fucking knows. I'm in these crypto fucking forums or whatever, and these people think they all fucking know. And when I tell them that none of us really know, none of us really know. And you know what? All we can do is ground in a feeling, knowing. There's thinking, there's knowing, there's feeling, right? All we can do at this point in time is ground into a feeling that feels good to us. That is what is going to help shift the frequencies towards more equitable outcomes for the entire planet. So shifting into a frequency of what feels good. What feels good. So let's talk a little bit about Sagittarius. So that's the Gemini. The reverse of the Gemini is the Sagittarius. So Gemini is the eclipse we're having on June 10th. I'm going to do another live about that. Stay tuned. The Sagittarian, the eclipse that happened on May 10th. Sagittarian, some keywords for Sagittarius: gypsy, student, philosopher, taking actions that expand our awareness, intuition, grasping the wholeness of life, allowing ourselves to take intuitive leaps, personal freedom, and faith in our ideals. All of this stuff. So, Sagittarius is really about allowing ourselves to attune to our intuition. Like, I don't know exactly, I can't give you the fucking details of what's happening on this planet at this time. I intuitively know, based on guidance that I have gotten, that we have shifted frequencies and have moved into a heart space, more empathic frequency that has been established on the planet. The old headspace rational frequency is doing its best to come in and squash the heart frequency, but that ain't gonna happen because too many of us have gone forward and awakened and moved forward, and the frequencies have shifted. And so the Sagittarian eclipse was really about allowing ourselves to ground in that truth, to really, really ground in that truth, right? Um, and ground in whatever freaking, philosophy and faith that we have. Grounding in our true intuitive feeling about whatever the heck is going on. Because intuition's a funny thing, because it's like you have a feeling about something, and all you can do is reside in that feeling about it, right? That's really what this entirely new era is about. Because if we're looking to the news to tell us and confirm what we're feeling, we're not going to get a reflected truth back. The truth resides in the self. The truth, the intuitive power, resides in the self. Okay? All we can do is question our perception and allow the universe permission to not make sense. Allow the universe to be chaotic, as it is at this point in time right now. It is fucking chaotic. It's chaotic. Okay? But chaos and order, they go together, right? Chaos shifts things around. It upgrades things. It up levels them. You cannot be stagnant with chaos. Chaos shifts all the energies around. That's what's going on right now. It's exciting. The more we can surrender to it, allow it to be, keep opening up to our intuition, our truth, ground in that frequency, ground in what we know is happening, the easier these shifts will become, because we have to keep coming back to the center. We have to keep coming back to the center. We have to keep coming back to the center to know we are on the right path. We can shift timelines as easily as we please, move into a frequency that feels more accurate to where we're at in this point in time. The frequency we attune to now, NOW, is the frequency of our lives. The frequency we attune to now is what will up-level ourselves for humanity, will up-level all of humanity. The only power we have is at this moment in time. So, with all of that said, let's do a little meditation. Just do a little time travel meditation, regression, whatever the hell you want to call it. Time is not real. Everything happens at once. There is no such thing as linear time. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. We think that there is on this weird ass planet, this beautiful planet that I love dearly. But you know what? It's not. Time is not linear. We can travel into the past and affect our present. We can travel into the future and affect our present. People are like, is that really true? Quantum physics, quantum reality, Albert Einstein, he knew all this shit. Theory of relativity, right? This is the truth. And this is the quantum reality that we're coming into, is the new norm, the linear Newtonian reality that was pre-2020 with the old man shit, capitalist hierarchical shit. That's gone. We're moving into a decentralized energy that is more empathic, based in the heart. We're raising our consciousness. We're raising our frequency. All of us have access to this. All of us have potentiality. All of us. Okay. So let's do a little grounding into this new frequency. Let's just and from this point we will, and then after that I'm gonna end things and wish you a beautiful, beautiful day. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope this helped. I hope this is helping you. That's the whole point I do all this. Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys all to, I might just open my eyes once in a while because my Instagram thing, blah, 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 technology. Just, I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Let's just release into the now. Let's release into the now. Let's tap the truth of whatever it is, whatever feeling we've been carrying with us, whatever frequency. Let's begin to breathe into our bellies, expand out of our mouths. I want you all to allow yourselves to open to the truth that all of life is vibration, and that everything on this planet and in this universe has a certain frequency at which it vibrates. Our bodies at this point in time have a vibration that we vibrate at. Our natural vibration, when we are attuned to the truth of this universe in our God selves, one with all of space and time, is very, very, very high. It's free. It's awake. It's unrestricted, unbounded. Yet, so much of our conditioning on this planet has taught us to vibrate, to hold that, to not be as excited. Let's just be honest about it. Because when you're vibrating high, you're pretty excited, pretty happy, right? This the powers that be on this planet, those that think they have power and those of us that think we don't, have shaped the energy to vibrate at a lower frequency so that those that believe they have power can always hold the power, because they cannot have the power if we vibrate higher. That is the truth. So, with that as a truth, I want you all to allow yourselves to open up to the highest frequency that is available to you at this base in time. This frequency can be connected to light, it can be connected to a geometric shape. Every single thing that has attracted you, that may be odd, that may seem different, it's coming from a higher cosmic frequency that is here to up-level all of us sensitives, all of us empaths, all of us that are just not into this old way anymore. That know deep in our guts, deep in our souls, that there is a new path. I want you to take a deep breath in. Liberate that frequency when you exhale. You can feel it. You can feel the enhanced excitement, the enhanced awareness, the enhanced truth. Every time you inhale, every time you exhale, you can feel your frequency of your entire body and the space around you up-leveling, It almost was going from a wow, 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 and it's moving up to a wow, 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 wow. How high do you want to go? When you're really high, you become more and more free. You become more and more etheric. You become more and more part at one with the cosmos, with the truth of your own soul. Take a deep breath in. Imagine that there is a light coming out the top of your head, swirling all around you, back into the base of your body. This is a frequency. It's moving. It's attuning. It's going higher and higher and higher. Every time you breathe in, every time you exhale, you can feel it. I feel it. Ooh, do I feel it? I feel a very, very, very high energy inside. This is the new frequency. This is the new era. This is what we attune at all the time. This is what we ground into. It's actually what we allow to be free. It's not even grounding, it's just focusing. Every time you exhale, high frequency. Whenever you're ready, I'd like you to come out. Slowly open your eyes. Allow yourself to realize this is the truth of your soul. This is your etheric body, your etheric self, accessing its potentiality, embodying its materiality. All right, I hope this was helpful. I love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.